and we're at Pumpkin Hill. You ready? I ain't gon' let it get to me. I'm just gon' creep down in Pumpkin Hill. I got to find my lost piece. I know that it's here. I can sense it in my feet. The great emerald's power allows me to feel.
So here's the thing. Sonic 1 is pretty super. I'm on record as saying this. But Sonic the Hedgehog 2, that shit is elite. Okay, y'all know the drill by now. Me say movie good, me not like 3 or 4 things about movie, me list problems first so me can say good things for longer. Honestly, I know I always say that my problems are pretty small, but like, wow, I really don't have a lot of big problems with this movie. First and foremost, I maintain that Knuckles' introduction should have been a shot-for-shot recreation of the Kingpin's introduction from Daredevil 2003, but set to Pumpkin Hill. But in terms of honest criticism, the only thing that I truly didn't like, aside from some of the jokes falling a bit flat, is Tom. Like, he's fine, but they try and find a balance between giving the human characters something to do so they stay relevant to the series, while also not making them overbearing and taking away from the franchise mainstays. And I just feel like Tom had the least interesting stuff going on. Like, Rachel, Maddie, and even fucking Wade all feel like they had more fun stuff to do in this movie, and like Tom's only function was just driving the themes home. But honestly, that's my only real gripe. Oh, and there's a scene that plays Uptown Funk, a song that I have a negative history with it, and we're gonna leave it at that. I honestly don't know what it is about Sonic in this movie, but he just feels better written compared to the first movie. Maybe it's that more of his jokes land, maybe it's that his visual improvements make the character work a little bit better, maybe it's having a better buddy to play off of, maybe it's the fact that he's not irrationally derailing someone else's character arc. I don't know what they improved, but this is basically the perfect rendition of Sonic's character. He's funny, but he's not overbearing, he's spunky, but not entirely arrogant, he's powerful, but not so much that he feels unbeatable. He feels like a teenager with superpowers who's in way over his head and just needs to admit that sometimes. There isn't really much to say about Sonic in this one. He's just everything people liked about him in the first movie, turned up to 11. Tails, on the other hand, is new and amazing. Before I say anything about his character, I want to quickly say that keeping Colleen O'Shaughnessy as the voice of Tails, as she has been in the video games as far back as 2014, was a great choice. Please, for the love of God, keep letting actors play their roles in media that the general audience takes more seriously, and pay them accordingly, obviously. Actually, that gives me an idea for another day. But back to Tails, I absolutely love him in this movie. Tails was never really one of my favorite Sonic characters, but man, Tails was easily my favorite part of this movie. They took his love of science and inventing and turned it into him essentially being the group's weapons specialist, which I know isn't anything new for him, but when these versions of Sonic and Knuckles are essentially elemental forces in this universe, Tails needs to show that he can keep up. They also do a good job of justifying why Tails is a Sonic fanboy, working to build an actual kinship between the two that goes deeper than just their really strong chemistry. Miles per hour used to not even crack my top 5 Sonic characters. So I guess what I'm saying is, I have never been a big Miles fan,
but the way they handled his character makes me a Miles fanboy.
Also, he's so small. He is so tiny, you guys. He's so fucking small. Knuckles, on the other hand, is a character that I and many others feel has been underserved in recent years. But this rendition of Knuckles has done a lot to rectify the somewhat tarnished reputation of the character. First, casting Idris Elba was perfect. He fits this very Drax-esque version of the character to a T, and I look forward to seeing his solo series. I always say that all you need to create an engaging character is to know why they are who they are. And not only do they do that incredibly well with Knuckles, but they also establish him in a way that sets him to be the perfect foil to Sonic, giving them valuable lessons that they can teach each other as both enemies and allies. Plus, he's so badass. He is, in my opinion, the perfect balance between being goofy and, as I like to call a lot of characters, a stone cold Yo-double-G. They do a good job of doing what I say they should do with the big 3 of Sonic, which is taking Sonic's speed and scaling it to Tails' intelligence and Knuckles' strength. But they also incorporate Knuckles' own considerable speed and wall climbing. Seriously, the fact that the second act wraps up with a legitimate fucking Dragon Ball fight between Sonic and Knuckles is awesome. Really, the thing that keeps me so enamored with this movie is the fact that it's both a great Sonic movie and a great movie. This movie, for the most part, is pretty well shot and really well color graded. Like, this movie has more aesthetic beauty to it than most Marvel movies. Yeah, I said it. And the action is better than most Marvel movies too. Sure, at the end of the day, it's just CG characters fighting CG drones, but they know how to choreograph action in a way that utilizes these characters' abilities to their maximum potential, making them fighting against and alongside each other really interesting to watch. Sonic Speed automatically makes him one of the best cinematic speedsters because they actually let him be fast without slowing down time too much. They do end up doing a tiny time in a bottle moment, but it's no more than 30 seconds. They actually let Sonic stay fast in this movie, and I love it. The pacing is great, the characters are well defined, the visuals are stunning. Seriously, tell me that this is a bad movie. I dare you. And on top of that, it is a great Sonic the Hedgehog movie. It has numerous references to the game, which adds to the overall quality of it as a Sonic movie, but they aren't hollow face value references like,
Corey's not gonna work. Get out of there. He's got a cold gun.
because they actually add to the film and the characters, like Robotnik having different kinds of badniks, Knuckles liking grapes, or the way they use the gun soldiers as an extension of the first movie's side characters. The movie cares about Sonic the Hedgehog, using all its goofy history and building an awesome future. Seriously, something happens near the end of this movie that had my half-full theater screaming louder than my completely packed theater from Endgame and No Way Home. It's fan service done to perfection as just the icing on a well-made movie cake that is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Analogy sucked, sticking to it. I can't recommend this 9.5 out of 10 family action comedy enough to parents, Sonic fans, and movie fans in general. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Sonic the Hedgehog 2 may very well be a perfect movie, and I will be patiently waiting for Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I had to include that joke. Special thanks to my friends Omar and Taryn for donating to the $10 tier on my Patreon. If you gotta go fast on viewing my content and want to watch videos early or see exclusive content, please consider donating to my Patreon. Literally any amount helps.